unbearable, the exchange, reading your messages, knowing that you're there to listen and getting to hear from you. It all makes it worthwhile. My name is Denise Dennis Walu. How are you doing today? How's your mind? How's your body? And how's your soul? How's everything around you? If there is ever a time you need to show care to someone, I think it is now. Check on somebody. I know what I'm saying. Be the reason that someone smiles today. Try. I mean, in any little way you possibly can, even if it's by buying granules for the person, please. It will go a long way. Having said that, all right, we have a conversation. It's centered around it's centered around dealing with the current inflation rate. Someone says, "Oh, thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome." Someone is asking, "Didi, how's your mind? How's your body? And how's your soul?" My mind is fine. My mind is fine, no, but something wanted to shake me like that. But I just tell myself, I sent someone to help me get noodles this morning, and I remembered when noodles used to be sold for as low as 20 naira. Now they say that's that small one that used to be how much? As at last week it was 150. As at today it is 160. My mind just do like this. Ewe, awala me. Something like that. My body is in top condition. It's fine, very fine. And for my soul is fine. It's just my mind that is my mind is just waiting. Someone says Wednesday are just annoying. The show no they last enough, my dear. Just bear with us. But see, have you listened to Talking Figures? Oh, that one comes up 2 o'clock through to 3 o'clock. Look out for it. Especially those of you that need to be abreast with the current happenings, especially as it concerns the economy, agriculture, oil and gas, fiscal policy, currencies, and all of that. Please, you should listen to Talking Figures, at least so that you have informed. You're well informed, and it can help you take informed decisions as well. I know sometimes when you have conversations away from radio with your family members, your colleagues, your friends, your church members and all, there's a way you sound and they're like, this person is informed, or this person knows what's up, or I know those are some of the things that we're able to do here on Nigeria Info, getting experts, resource persons to come and shed more light on some things that are quite ambiguous and things that we need clarity on. So yes, you should listen to Talking Figures if you do not already. Someone says, please, did you ask the person to get onion for you? I bet the average man can't afford it again. Onion. Okay. So, Talking Figures 2 to 3. I have from now till about 2 o'clock to spend with you. So, we'll see how we'll make the most of it. So, today's topic on Talking Figures, you should look out for it, all right? It's the electricity distribution companies, DISCOs, and their licensing regime, the way forward. And the core question that we'll try to answer: should licenses of the 11 DISCOs be renewed or handed back to government? I remember when we used to have NEPA. I mean, the government was in charge of electricity distribution, and there were some glory days, and then there were times when the lapses were not hidden, and we looked forward to a time when we could actually, talk about electricity, and we talk about it with some sort of excitement. What has changed then? What is applicable now that it has been privatized? So we have some companies known as the DISCOs, the electricity distribution companies. So there's no more, we don't have NEPA anymore. For River State, Bayelsa State, and one other state, is it Cross River or Akwa Ibom State? We have PHEDC, that's Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company. That is our DISCO. That is the distribution company we have here. And then, of course, licensing renewal and all of that. That is why you should listen. I promise you, it will be worth your while. So, dealing with current inflation rate. Someone just reminded me about onion I talked about last week. I remember when we were talking about alternatives for onion. The reality of things is that times are hard. Yes. Hard for salary earners. Harder for those doing businesses. And I would say hardest for those without any source of livelihood. The way forward is what we will talk about today. I know some of you have been asking for salary increment. Some of you were excited, especially those of you civil servants with wage increase of over 25,000 naira. Those of us in the private sector, those of you that work in the private sector, maybe your companies have increased your salaries. But then again, there's the question between the current demands or the current inflation rate and a review in prices for things like food and other basic needs. Which would you classify as a more timely and lasting intervention? Because if salaries continue to be increased and inflation continues to increase, at some point, I'm sure the management may not be able to increase salaries anymore. So what then happens? So think about it deeply. We need to go on a commercial break now. And when we come back, I'll tell you what the statistics are saying, and then we will talk in full. Do stay tuned to us.
Jesus Open Heaven International Church invites you for her program, Themed Oil for Ownership 2023. It is a 5-day event that will bring about financial breakthroughs, healings, deliverances from late marriages, barrenness, and household enemies. Ministering is Apostle David Chukwuka Adibia, alongside Pastor Mrs. Esther Chukwuka Adibia. Date from the Wednesday 22nd of November to Sunday 26th of November 2023. Time 5 p.m. daily. And join our powerful service on Sunday by 9 a.m.
sunny side. Someone says, Zidi, good afternoon. Please, I didn't listen to the alternative to onion. Please, what it is. I really want to know. Oh, so there's spring onion. And what's the name of this other one now? But I'm not sure spring onion and the other one is cheapo. So let's just buy the onion like that. Anyway, Nigeria's annual inflation rate continued to climb to 27.3% in October. That was last month. The highest, actually, since August 2005. Up from 26.7% in the prior month, that was in September. Inflationary pressures have intensified over the recent month due to the government's elimination of fuel subsidies in May and the Naira currency's weakness, which followed the central bank's decision to reduce interventions in the foreign exchange markets in June. So simply put here, it's how some of these things are all connected. Little wonder anytime you go and buy something, a trader who does not even understand exactly how these things are or how these things work will always say, dollar don't high. So you want to buy a car today and they are telling you dollar rates. Even a Nigerian used car. You want to buy a dress and they're telling you dollar rates. You want to make a dress, they're telling you dollar rates. Even the market woman at Rumokoro Market selling pepper and tomatoes, some way, somehow finds a way to infuse dollar into the sale of the pepper and tomatoes. And you begin to wonder why. But then again, there is the subsidy removal, the one we all are conversant with. We all have experienced it in one way or the other in areas of transportation, powering our businesses for the business owners, the business places and all, to how it affects, transporting goods from one part of the country to another part of the country, to a lot of things, all right? It seems like subsidy removal, it's more at the center of inflation as opposed to maybe dollar rates or foreign exchange rates. Let me put it like that, foreign exchange rates. So, prices of food, which is the most relevant in the CPI basket, picked up to 31.5% last month. The highest since August, from 30.6% before now, amid persistent security issues in food-producing regions. People cannot go to the farm anymore. Then there is housing, there is utility, there is clothing, there is footwear and transportation, also exerting upward pressure. The annual core inflation rate, which excludes farm produce, rose further to a record of 22.7% last month, accelerating from September's reading of 22.1% on a monthly basis. So consumer prices rose by 1.7% in October, following a 2.1% surge in the prior market. Now, you can go to the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics and you see this information I just reeled out to you. But in simple terms, away from the numbers, this percent, that percent, what the ordinary man can see or what the ordinary man can relate with is going down to your regular shop where you buy things, only to discover that the price of something you probably bought last week or last month has increased. Toothpaste, detergent, bathing soap, dairy products, milk, chocolate beverages, things like noodles, onion, even rice. People are wondering what Christmas this year will look like with the price of rice. And then I read somewhere that even the local rice is now more expensive than the imported rice. I haven't bought rice in a while. The last time I bought rice was in the month of March. So I do not know how much rice is being sold now. I could find out. I mean, it's not hard. I mean, if I open the phone lines and ask one or two persons how much rice is being sold for. The last time I bought beans, I got a rubber for about 2,800, between 2,500 to 2,800, as at 200 naira or even more. You can relate with some of these things. So if you're not conversant with numbers or you still do not understand what the numbers are saying, this is what it is in simple terms. Inflation. Inflation is what it is called. Someone once mentioned that the price of attachment has increased as well to 2,800. Just last month, I bought attachment for 2,300, 2,400, and now it's 2,800. So you can see these things. Transportation that used to cost maybe 50 naira from this place to this place, or 100 naira from this place to this place, is now from between 150 to 200 to sometimes even 250. You can relate with this thing. So let's look at these things, this conversation from things that we can easily relate to. Of course, you know the price of fuel now. It's between 5,591 naira sold by NNPC to 670 naira. That's the reality. But then you work or you run a business. I think you are the people that sometimes are more concerned. Now you look at the average Nigerian who comes from a family, and you discover that average Nigerian has several other persons that are dependent on that person's source of income. So this is Denise here, and Denise works with Nigeria Info FM, or this is Jude, or this is Kalada, or this is Sam working in Nigeria Info. And Sam has wife, children, parents, and maybe somebody else that they are responsible for. So when Sam thinks about his basic needs, sorry Sam, I'm using you, but just to buttress the point. When Sam thinks about his basic needs, which will range from food to clothing to toiletries and all of that, Sam is equally thinking about his wife and children and how to send money to his parents and other things, and how to sometimes reach out to one relative that will call and say, brother, help me, or sister, help me. So then you discover that it's not enough for you, yes. How much more being enough to reach out to other people? But before now, we've found a way around it. Ask an average Nigeria, is your salary enough for you? And they tell you, that salary, no reach, or you no go anywhere, this one, that one. How much more now with inflation and same salary? But there's something called price regulation or price review. Sometimes the reason why you buy things at certain prices, as explained by the economist, is centered around the factors of production. Okay? So you have the entrepreneur, you have where it is produced, you have the materials that are sourced for production. So let's assume you are buying a product like tiger nuts. To get a bottle of tiger nuts, you get the tiger nuts, you get dates, you sometimes get ginger, you get coconut. Some people that choose to add banana would have banana. Now, when you put the prices of all of these things together, you now say, I have spent XYZ amount producing this one bottle. So I would sell this one bottle for maybe 1,000 naira, 800 naira, or 1,500. It depends. Now, people will say, why would you sell it for that amount? Every product has its market. And while one person thinks it's expensive, there are people who are willing and will gladly pay that particular price for it. And then you ask yourself, what about those people that cannot afford it? And the vendors will tell you, they're not my market. I mean, this is what the reality of things are. If I should make profit and be able to cater to myself and my needs and also continue this business, it has to be at this price. But I would ask you, as someone who directly is impacted by all of these things I have mentioned, which would you prefer? Between increase in your salary or your income and let's say some sort of intervention where prices are regulated in such a way that it favors everybody, the low income earner, the high income earner, which will be a lasting or a more timely and lasting intervention. So between increase in salary and income and review in prices of food and other basic needs, which would you think, or which do you think, I beg your pardon, is a more timely and lasting intervention? Let's talk. 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0002. Again, 0817 923 0002. We also have 0817 923 0003. Again, 0817 923 0003. We have the WhatsApp and Telegram number, which is 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416. Join the conversation on X at Nigeria Info PH is our X handle. Join the conversation on Facebook. Facebook page remains Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Now, our call screener is always on standby to take your calls first before passing you on to me in the studio. So when you do call, the first voice you would hear will not be my voice, but that of the call screener. We love it when you listen. In fact, you're the reason we turn on our microphone every single day. But we'll appreciate it if you join the conversation as we look forward to hearing from you. Fresh voices, by sending your message, which I will gladly read, or by calling the numbers early advertised. Obegu is calling from on there. Hi, Obegu. Welcome to the sunny side. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that let it be that you are paying me 1 kobo, but let that 1 kobo have value. It's not about paying me 1 trillion naira that I will take to market, or I will send my wife to market, and she will come back with nothing. Okay. So I'm of the opinion that let our naira or currency have value.
The currency should have value. So that
when you collect that 1 kobo, or as the case may be, it will help you to solve a lot of problems, not where you have a lot of money at your hand and you cannot get anything meaningful out of it. That's my submission.
Okay. So, Obego prefers 1 naira. All right? 1 naira may not be 1 naira, but you understand what he means. But let it be that 1 naira should be able to purchase something meaningful as opposed to having a lot of money that cannot purchase anything meaningful. Let's hear from Zion in GRA. Hi, Zion. Welcome to the sunny side. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I will need intervention on the aspect of commodities.
Intervention on the aspect of commodities. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Pricing, especially for food. You see this area, it affects well.
Okay.
And the way it's going is not encouraging. Funny enough, the people in charge to control price are not even working. In a reasonable environment, we don't care what inflation stands for. The government has given the price that a cup of rice should be 15 naira. It doesn't concern the government. That 15 naira stands. That is how it's done. But look here, it's just as if there is no governance. Everybody put price the way they want, the way they like. We are just living carelessly, which is not good. Come to the street of Port Harcourt. People are macheting on daily basis. No food to eat. Some have changed their clock. 101. Some is 001. Some is even 000. If we continue like this, it will cause us more harm. Before now, I proposed that the government of Rivers State should make available trucks that should go to the hinterland to bring foods to the main city. Those people in the farms, they have products, so let's be honest, they want to sell. But how can a vehicle get there at the cost of this? How many naira per diesel? How many naira per fuel per liter? So you find that it is the transportation that determines. But if the Butakoto trailers can go to Ichie, can go to Bayelsa Zarama, can go to Swadi Market and bring these products here, it will be cheaper. A
Okay.
tuber of yam today, I stand to be corrected. When I mean tuber, I'm not talking about the tiny one, the standard one.
The standard size.
We just
yeah.
need pricing. I just priced it. Let's deal with this issue of food.
Okay.
Mr. Zion.
All right. So Mrs. Zion wants pricing to be dealt with. Now, it may interest you to know that the Nigerian market is free and mostly unregulated. It's a market where prices of goods are not controlled or regulated by the government. So each producer decides how they want to peg their prices, sometimes centered around the factors of production, which are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Martins from Elele1, welcome to the sunny side. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Turn off your radio set, please.
To me, I would prefer a situation where there will be government intervention in pricing of essential commodities particularly.
Okay.
Before now, there used to be price control. Where prices of commodities will be controlled. To me, it makes no sense that I earn 150,000 naira in a month and I go to the market and I buy a covered rubber of garri for 5,000 naira or above. I buy a covered rubber of rice for almost 10,000 naira and above. It makes no sense. A situation where you have less quantity of money and you buy a reasonable amount of commodities with it relaxes your mind, relaxes my mind, and makes the naira valuable. So I don't appreciate the fact that you have huge amount of money, and by the time you come out from the supermarket, you look at your shopping basket, you see nothing, which is the reality now. So I would like that government would intervene and ensure there is price control mechanisms where cost of things will be reduced no matter your income. In that case, if you earn a little income, you can make your plan. You can even buy a bag of cement for 3 naira as it used to be before. Rather than what it is now. Tell me an average civil servant, a person who starts work new, how many months would he save his income to be able to buy a refrigerator for his house, to be able to buy a 4-feet bed for his house, to even rent a house?
Okay.
And before now, an average civil servant could rent a house for less than 5,000 naira per annum from his income. So we are really in a terrible condition. If it is favoring you, if it is favoring anybody, I'm not sure it's favoring any person by my corner.
Okay. Thank you so much, Martins. These are the realities. Now, he mentioned house rent. You know, at some point, someone once made a funny statement on Twitter that very soon, real estate in River State will look somewhat like what it is in Lagos and Abuja. Because houses that are not worth it will go for prices that are outrageous. And in the defense of the landlords and landladies, it's because of the situation of things. I hope you know that there are some people that their only source of income is real estate. And real estate will be in terms of owning shops, owning properties that are being rented by other people. So they are in the same situation as you are. They wait for tenants to pay rent before they see food to eat. And sometimes some tenants can be so funny and they don't pay rent. Now, it's understandable that you built a house in 2023 with the current bag of cement being how much? The current price of blocks, the current price of sand, and the current price of everything. Nobody will expect you to put that house up for far less. However, what about those people that built their house since maybe 1999? Who will still inflate their prices all in the name of inflation, dollar, what's that word? Subsidy removal and the rest. Think about it. Innocent from GRA, welcome to the sunny side. Oh dear, Innocent, please you would have to call back. Permit me to read your messages on Facebook. Udoka Mpokanke says, look, the only thing that makes abroad better than Nigeria is their currency has value. Nigeria will go and suffer in abroad, bring their currency here, exchange it, and they are big boys. Once we are able to carry 100 naira to the market and buy things, inflation will reduce. Another thing is remove tax for consumption goods. Relocate big companies to the local communities. People will naturally relocate there. Interesting. Remember, we're still asking a very, very important question on the sunny side today as a way forward. Look at it as a way forward. Some of you have said, oh, you want salary increment. But again, there is salary increment and there is review of prices. So between increase in salary or income and a review in the prices of goods and other basic needs, which would you classify as a more timely and lasting intervention? We had subsidy removal for a while, and to a large extent, we saw some benefits in it. Subsidy is gone now, and look at what we are faced with. The impact of subsidy removal. So now, let's assume we want to start intervening in area of prices, and then okay, we understand that the cost of production is this. All right, let's subsidize rice. Oh, okay, let's subsidize palm oil. Oh, okay, how many things can we possibly subsidize? Now, let's just say we want the government to step in and, look at these prices, look at the ones that are outrightly unreasonable, and try to moderate these things. Won't we have business owners come out and say things like, you see, this is why businesses are not growing in Nigeria. I mean, how can we buy things at this price, buy things at that price, and you expect us to sell at this price? A lasting and timely intervention is what we look at today. Ken from Obimini, welcome, Ken. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Dennis.
Good afternoon, Ken. How are you doing?
I'm cool.
All right, talk to me.
Once upon a time, condensed milk was 5 kobo.
You mean condensed milk?
Fine, correct.
Okay.
Was 5 kobo. 5 pieces of chewing gum was also 5 kobo. Thick milk then.
You may not need to mention the name of the brand. Just use milk as an instance.
So what I'm saying in essence is this. When there is sufficient commodities in the market, our currency will have value. Because none of the commodity now, what the money we are using now, the currency we claim to be using, you can't use 10 naira and afford anything now in this country. Imagine where a cube of sugar is 20 naira.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So imagine the lightness. Let the government strategize on these areas. Let there be factories, companies, at least to make sure that these things are available for consumption. There you will know if our currency have value or not. I'm talking about local production and not imported ones that has nothing to do with dollar, export and exchange.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's Ken Ojono calling from Ubumi.
All right, thank you so much, Ken. 0817-923-002. and 0817-923-0003. Again, 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. Thank God on Facebook says reduction in prices of food items. Christy on WhatsApp says, okay. Good afternoon, Didi. I think the more lasting intervention is regulating the price of items in the market. There is no amount of salary increment that can curb the effect of high price of commodities. Christy from Port Harcourt. This other message reads, good afternoon, Denise. Price intervention by anybody or institution is no longer feasible in Nigeria. You know what? We need to go on a commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue from where we left off. Just stay tuned to Us with Nigeria Info.
Advertising Practitioners Association, Port Harcourt Chapter, APAPC, and Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ARCON, presents AGM and Stakeholders Forum